All right. We'll let everybody get loaded up here and then we will get started. This is going to be a fun night. I hope you guys have a little bit of time. We'll try to keep this as close to an hour as we can because I know I'm taking your evening time so that we can make sure that we get you guys out of here. Also, going to have some guests on tonight, so I want to make sure that I intro a couple of them as we get closer to the end of this. This is going to be a subject tonight and a topic tonight that I hope encourages you, challenges you in all areas of your life. Many of you guys know that I spend time doing college ministry, and I've had a ball because college is starting back up. So we have students coming back in a hurry right now. We had about 100 students in class Sunday morning. We had about 100 the week before, and the college kids just literally got back this week. So we're really pumped to see what we have show up for our college ministry for this semester and how that's going to flow and work and all of that. This is a talk that I did kind of with them. And when I did it and prepped this talk, it made me think of entrepreneurship. 100%. 100%. So as we go through what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about three specific things that you're going to have to overcome that Jesus gives us very specific instructions about. We're also going to talk about what it means to deny ourselves and what that looks like inside of entrepreneurship. So as we go through this call tonight, um, highly encourage you to use the chat to be able to drop some information. If you guys have a golden nugget, if you have a question, if you have anything like that where you're like, hey, I would love to know this or see that, or this is what I'm learning, great. Drop it in the chat. Would love to have that in there. I see some familiar faces on here, which I love. If you guys are on here, thank you for showing up from our main groups, and then all of you that are joining us as guests tonight. Hey, it's a Thursday night. I know you could have chose to do something else, so I feel very blessed that you guys are here. If you want to drop in the chat where you're actually from, that would help all of us to kind of get an idea of who all's on here. I know we have people from overseas. Actually have one of our students heading to what did he tell me? He's heading to Korea, I think the end of this month. He was going to try to be here tonight, but I don't think he's going to be able to be to go over there to do some missions work that's inside of our DSF program, so that's pretty exciting. Oh yeah, look at this. We got a whole crew from all over the place. St. Louis, Mexico, Indiana, Roanoke. Hey, that's Deb. That's Jonathan. Yeah, Jackson, Raleigh, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Tennessee, South Dakota. We got it from all over tonight. This is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Texas, Colorado. I am sitting in the big city of Lubbock. If any of you have ever been through the big city of Lubbock, you kind of got to be going up this direction to go through Lubbock, Texas. Or coming here for a specific reason. It's definitely not somewhere that you go and you vacation at. It doesn't look anything like the picture behind me. So, so as we're going through this tonight, we're going to look at some scriptures. I'm going to do a little storytelling tonight. I'm going to share some of my story tonight. I'm going to ask you guys some questions and to use the chat to answer those. This is a this is a topic or a subject that is, can I just say God's been like showing this? Like there's been so many things this week where somebody has made a comment about something or something has been said in a maybe a group that I'm in or something that I'm like, "Oh my goodness, like this is a topic right now that is very personal and very real and very real life." As we're on the call today, I want to make sure I see Aaron hopped on. Guys, if you have any questions while we're on the call, he's waving down there. Make sure and hit Aaron up if you've got any questions tonight. I know we also have some students on tonight that are willing to say a few things, so we'll have them on here in a little bit to say hey and that Aaron can chat with. So you see he just posted in the group there. So make sure and use that chat box. Aaron will get you handled tonight. We want to make sure that we take great care of you. If you don't know who I am, my name's Cory Long. I've spent about, in fact, I thought about this the other day. I opened my first business after ministry 11 plus years ago now. I didn't even realize it had been 11 years. Things are flying by. I spent about 17 years in full-time ministry. We did youth ministry. We worked in children's homes, also worked in some college ministries. We ended up running a children's home. I did some other work for another children's home in Colorado. And at some point, we were deciding, okay, we've got to do something else. We're never going to be able to retire, never going to be able to send my kid to college. She's gonna have to figure out how to do all this stuff on her own because I'm not gonna be able to afford it. And that's when we started the businesses 11 years ago. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about that tonight. Once I got into that, we started with one company, eventually started what's Rock Consulting now, which is my digital agency. We had so much success in that 6 years ago we launched digital storefronts. We've had a massive amount of success in that. Like I say, we've got students that are all over the world. We have students doing ministry work full time. We have students that are just loving on their families and helping their communities and helping their churches and doing different things. This subject that we're going to talk about tonight uh, is is practical, tactical, and as we talked about the other week in my class that I was teaching with my college kids, we were talking about sayings or things that Jesus said that are hard, things that are hard for us to kind of grasp and hard for us to live out many times, even though it seems simple. And so, as we talk about tonight, I think that's going to hopefully hit home with you. Also, something to kind of think about for any of you that have gotten the emails or seen the texts or been talking to Aaron or Luke or one of our other staff, um, guys, we're closing enrollment for digital storefronts as of the end of this month. We have been talking about this, trying to decide what we wanted to do. We're going to close enrollment at the end of this month for 2025. Not sure uh, what 2026 looks like yet. Uh, we're dropping all kinds of AI stuff. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but guys, I've got a big, huge event coming up in November that we want to make sure and get as many DSF students to as possible. And all of my staff, everything's kind of focused on that right now. So we're trying to kind of pull back, put as much energy towards all of those things as we can. So we're going to really make sure that we give our students every opportunity to succeed. So that's one of the reasons why we're kind of closing this out. This will probably be my last Kingdom Impact call for this year, unless I don't know, we may do something else. We'll see. But right now, that's kind of where we're at. All right, let's get into this thing. So a couple of years ago, my daughter was in Vail, Colorado. She spent about 3 years or 4 years in Colorado. She worked in Aspen, Glenwood Springs, and then she ended up in Vail doing CT X-ray work. And so she's in Vail. She invites us up. Luckily, with the businesses that we have and the way our lifestyle is with kind of the laptop lifestyle, we take off to Vail and we stay for, I think we stayed 3 weeks. We may have stayed a month. I can't remember. And she was like, "Hey, Dad, we got to go skiing while we're there." I don't know how many of you guys are skiers in here. If you're a ski, I'm just out of curiosity because I asked the kids this the other day. It was very interesting to see. If any of y'all are skiers, I'd be curious to know, like, are you a skier or are you a snowboarder? Whichever one of those that is, drop it in the chat. I'd be very curious to see who all in here still skis and snowboards. So we go to the top of the mountain. We go down there. We strap on. They're both snowboarders. We go with my daughter and one of the ski patrol people. Um, yeah, you skied in Vail. That's awesome. We go to Vail. We go to Beaver Creek. We strap on at the bottom. It's crazy busy. There's 4 gazillion people down there. Hop the first lift and go all the way to the top because we wanted to get out of all of the craziness. We had one of the ski patrol guys with us that she knew that was off that day, and he was kind of skiing with us. So we go to the top of Beaver Creek. We get to the top, and we're looking down, and they want to do some filming and all this kind of stuff. We put these apps on our phone to be able to see how fast we're going and how many miles we skied that day and all kinds of craziness. And so this was only about a year ago, year and a half ago, maybe something like that. We take off, we're skiing, everything's great. We get towards the end of the day. Guys, I turned 51 at the end of this month. So I'm in pretty good shape. By the end of that day, I'm tired. My body's hurting, my legs are hurting, everything's kind of hurting. I crashed once trying to pay attention to them while they were She was literally snowboarding down the mountain, and the ski patrol guy was doing circles around her, videoing her. It was amazing to watch. And I got a little too busy watching her, and I didn't see the moguls that were in front of me, and my
Yeah.
skis went all over the place, and I plastered and bit the snow. We get to the end of the day, and if you've ever been to Beaver Creek, I don't know if anybody skied Beaver Creek here. You get down, if you want to come off the top and you want to go down, there's really only two runs from where we were at that you could go down. There's a green or blue run. I don't even remember what it was. It's probably green that winds real slow down the mountain, and it takes forever to get down at the bottom of the mountain. And you get down at the bottom of the mountain on the green trail, it's going to take you a while, and it was packed with people. The other run is pretty much straight down. Drops down to the first green run, and you got to go over the green runs. Drops down the next, right? Every switchback, you're dropping down, having to go across, dropping down, having to go across. It was super icy. I don't know if you guys have ever been on ice on skis, but it is not fun. So here we're skiing down, and that's all you can hear is this massive amount of ice on the skis. My legs are burning like crazy. I knew at that point that I was in trouble. I knew at that point that I needed to either suck it up and go all in and just send it, or I was going to probably hurt myself. And so you would fly down, try to get yourself stopped before you hit the next little green trail, drop over that, fly down, try to stop, hit the next green. And we just did this all the way down. I have no idea how long it took us to get down. It took a while. Sometimes we have to just send it. Sometimes we even feel, even on that mountain that day, there was moments when I felt completely out of control. There was moments where I was on the edge of either I'm going to bite it, skis are going to go everywhere, Cory's going to go everywhere, or we're going to make it down. And I remember getting down close to the bottom, finally off of the icy steepness, and getting down to close to the bottom to where I could just let her fly, and just pointing my skis down towards the lift and let her rip. And we just kind of went down. And luckily at that point, it was really nice because I could just do my thing and make it really easy to get down to the bottom of that and not have to stress about anything. So sometimes we have to send it. And when we're building a kingdom business, sometimes that's what it feels like. Sometimes the only way down is for us to go down the icy face of a mountain. And sometimes when we go down, if any of y'all are entrepreneurs, you know this feeling. You know this feeling where you get to that point where you are trying to decide, you're right on the edge of your comfort zone. And sometimes we have to move outside of that. And that day I had to. That day I had to decide, am I going to send it? Am I going to believe and trust in myself? Or am I going to get hurt? Is basically the two options that I had. Hopefully, not taking out somebody else with me or running across that green trail and smacking somebody. I had to just send it. And sometimes in business, the only way for us to grow is to go all in when God says to move. That's what we have to do. We literally have to go all in when God says to move. There have been moments in my life where we've had to do that, where we've said, hey, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this next step? What's the business going to look like? Sometimes businesses ebb and flow. I've told you guys stories for all of you that have followed me for a while. We had a $45,000 a month client at one point. That client was amazing when we had them. Built the agency up to like 18 employees. We were doing 90 to 100K every month. Things were cruising along. And then all of a sudden, after a couple of years, we lost the client because they were selling and they wanted to look really good. So they got rid of any expenses that they could. They cut me literally the week that we were supposed to renew the contract for another year. I had 18 mouths to feed. I had to decide, what am I going to do? And I had to decide whether to send it or not. Are we going to sit back and watch, or are we going to go all in? And I had to go all in. I had to make sure that I took care of my employees. I had to make sure that I took care of the mouths that needed to be fed, the customers that we had, all of the stuff that was happening. I needed to make sure that all of that was good. Some of you may feel that way right now. Some of you may feel like, look, I'm at the cusp of something. I need to just get on the top of the mountain, look down the icy face of it, and just go. And I think what we're going to see tonight, we're going to be in Luke 9, and that's where we're going to spend some time. We're going to look at a couple of different parts of Luke 9, and then we're going to sit on some verses and really talk about what does this mean for us as Christians, husbands, wives, moms, dads, sons, daughters, as maybe church ministers or staff, maybe as just nonprofit owners or founders. We're going to talk about what that means and what it looks like for us. I'm going to get into Luke 9 right quick, and I want to show you guys. This is, again, this is kind of one of those verses and that we're going to kind of sit on that is easy and it's really hard all at the same exact time. And so I want to show you something though before we get into this. Luke 9 is like one of these heavy chapters. It's got so much meat to it. And so I'm just going to read down through and we're going to look at these actual headers. And of course, this is NIV that I'm using tonight. Um, we're going to look at these titles of each one of these sections so that you guys can kind of get a feel for what's happening in these verses. So Jesus is literally sending out the 12 right at the first of Luke 9. This is when he gives them the power and the authority. They go drive out demons, they cure diseases, they go proclaim God. They literally go and heal the sick. They were told to send it. Because guess what he told them to do? He literally tells them, take nothing for your journey, no staff, no bag, no bread, no money, no extra shirt. Whatever house you enter, stay there until you leave that town. If people do not welcome you, leave their town, shake the dust off your feet as a testimony against them. He literally told them, take what you have right now, go minister, go bless people, go heal people, go drive out demons, go share the gospel. There's going to be plenty places that you're accepted and you have a place to stay, and there's going to be some places that don't want you there. It's just part of it. Sends them out right off the bat. That's what we see right off the bat here in chapter 9. Then we see Jesus feed the 5,000. So now they've seen miracles, right? They're seeing miracles happen. On top of the miracles, we see Peter declare that Jesus is the Messiah. Right off the bat, we see him declare Jesus is the Messiah. Then we see, and this is where we're going to set out here in a minute, we see Jesus predicts his death. This is the first time that he predicts his death to the disciples. And remember, right where we're going to set tonight is about 18 to 24 months into the ministry. We're not sure exact timing, but think about this. This is about a year and a half to 2 years into the ministry. That means that they spent a lot of time laying on dirt and stone and traveling together. They spent a lot of time being hungry. Spent a lot of time getting kicked out of cities and being welcomed into cities. They've spent a lot of time ministering to the sick and seeing crazy miracles done. They've seen people risen from the dead at this point. Like they've seen some really powerful things, and they just saw Jesus feed the 5,000. And then we see Jesus declare that or Peter declare that he's Jesus, and then we see him predict the death. Then we see the transfiguration again. Guys, this is a meaty, 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 meaty chapter. We see the transfiguration. We see Jesus heal the demon-possessed boy. And then we see Jesus predict his death a second time, same chapter. We see the Samaritan opposition. And then we see at the very end of this chapter, Jesus lays it all out for the disciples. Here's the cost. This is what it's going to cost you. If you want to follow me, this is what it's going to cost you. So by now, the disciples had spent a lot of time with Jesus. They had seen all of it. He predicts his death right here. And they still didn't get it. You guys know this, that have studied this. They still didn't see what was really going on. They didn't see everything, even after he had calmed the storms, even after he had done all these things and seen all these miracles. He tells them, then he said to them all, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me will save it. We're going to set on these verses. And this is really where we're going to spend some time. This is where we're going to kind of sink in tonight as we talk about really what we are called to do. And what maybe you're being called to do right now. After all of this time that he spent with the disciples, this is the first time that he goes, I'm going to die. They didn't get it. They didn't understand it. Even after he tells them a second time, they still didn't get it, right? but he tells them, I'm going to die. And then he tells them, you got to be ready to give up everything. I want you to think about who he's telling this to. These are young men that have literally walked away from, some of them walked away from wives, or a wife, Peter, for sure, right? Walked away from their businesses, walked away from their families, walked away from their houses, walked away from their cities, walked away from everything that was comfort. Already, these guys have already done that. And they're traveling with him. They've been with him a couple of years now. He predicts his death, and then he says, guys, if you want to follow me, if you want to be my disciple, if you want to be my disciple, this is what you got to do. You got to take up your cross daily and you got to follow me. That's what he tells them. This is a long ways into this. It's a long ways into this. He basically tells them, look, you can't do this halfway. He said, you got to do it daily. And we're going to go through and we're going to talk about different things that have to happen for us to do this on a daily basis. Because this isn't an easy teaching. I mean, this is something that we could spend hours on today talking about. We have to deny, we have to pick it up, and we have to follow him every day. And for kingdom entrepreneurs, it's no different today. If you want to grow a kingdom-minded business, if you want to grow a business that's kingdom-focused, you've got to be able to go, I'm going to get uncomfortable. And there's going to be certain things that you're going to have to do, even like the disciples did. It's no different. So when you hear the whole thing, take up your cross daily, drop in the comments. I'm curious to see, what do you guys immediately think of? What do you guys immediately think of when you hear take up your cross daily? What is the imagery? What is the feeling? What is the tension behind it? What does that make you feel like you need to do or think about? Drop it in the comments and chat. I would love to see what you guys are thinking. When he told the disciples this, what was the cross a sign of? It's a sign of death. Like they knew if you picked a cross up, guess what? You were going to die. There was no way around this thing. And not only were you going to die, but it was going to be painful. This was not an easy death. It wasn't a fast death. This was, I'm going to pick this thing up. I'm going to be heading towards my death. And Jesus tells them basically, you have to die to your agenda. Whatever you think your agenda is does not matter anymore. Just can't. Can't make it about your agenda and what you want anymore. And it has to be a daily thing. So we're gonna kind of talk about three different barriers that hold entrepreneurs back. And this is not just in business. I love what you guys have put. Follow Jesus personally, surrender and trust. It is our debt to him. We die daily and must share the gospel daily. Go all in, death to everything else. It was a method of execution. Yeah. Surrender and trust is God. Yeah, love it. So if you scroll down here and we look at what he basically tells them at the end of this chapter, we start to see what Jesus is calling them to. And we start to see what he's calling us to. So at the end of this chapter, as we read through what the cost of following Jesus is, it says, they were walking along the road. A man said to him, I will follow you wherever you go. Jesus replied, foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Guys, comfort was not a part of following Jesus. We live in a society where comfort is pretty much what we chase. We chase comfortable beds, comfortable air conditioning, comfortable chairs, comfortable money, comfortable everything. So we chase it. When we get in our comfort zones, I don't know if you guys have ever been through this, but in our business, comfort kills. Comfort kills. If you're trying to build a business and you get to that point where you start to feel comfortable, you better watch out. I've had that happen in my own business. When we had that $45,000 client, I got comfortable. We were making great money. Staff was making great money. Things were going great. We were adding clients. Things were going wonderful. And then all of a sudden, poof, 45 grand was gone a month. You talking about a wake-up call. It was no longer comfortable. That was like shock, is what that was. He's telling guys that have been following him now for a couple of years that you're going to have to, if you want to follow me, it's not going to be comfortable. There's not going to be a place for you to lay your head. Comfort kills our calling. Playing it safe feels good, but leads nowhere. And in business, we have to understand that there's risk. There are people that will join my trainings and they'll blame everything. They'll blame me, they'll blame the training, they'll blame the business, they'll blame the economy, they'll blame everything that they can blame. They play victim. It's just the way it works. And Jesus is going, dude, if you want to follow me, if you truly want to be about the gospel message and you disciples want to follow me, can't play the blame game. Can't play the victim game. Just can't. It's not a part of it. If we stay safe, we're playing in the comfort zone. We're playing in the comfort zone. I challenged the college students the other day. I was like, look, some of you are going to walk into classes and there's going to be professors that are going to completely deny the gospel message. It's going to happen. You're going to have to sit in workplaces that have nothing even resembling Christianity in them, right? Sometimes staying safe, according to what we just read, is staying in a job, a consistent job that pays us every month where it's just comfortable when God has called us to something much bigger. And that could be another job, could be a business, could be all kinds of things. There's all kinds of ways and all kinds of places, could be ministry work that you've been called to. We've had students that have gone all over the world. We've got students right now that are planting ministries in Hong Kong, Australia, and other countries. Like it's cool to watch. And they're using what they do inside of DSF to pay for those things. It's kind of fascinating to watch. When we avoid necessary risks because of fear of failure, we're not living this out. We're just not living it out. And that becomes a big issue. If your goal is impact, comfort can't be your God. I'm going to repeat that. If your goal is impact, if you guys really want to impact the world, if you want to save the lost, if you want to go impact a certain people, if you want to make change in your community or the city that you live in, if you've been called to go do ministry somewhere, if you've been called to create more impact, comfort cannot be your God. It just can't. It becomes an idol. It becomes an idol. And there are times when we've been extremely uncomfortable in all kinds of different ways. So I would just ask you to look at your life and go, am I living in the bubble of comfort? Have I taken the risks that I need to take to follow what God's called me to do? When we set out to do RV life, we had no idea what that was going to be like. Can we keep our business going while we did that? Are we going to be able to travel and actually pay our bills? Are we going to be able to pay for our staff? Are people going to think we're crazy? I don't know. There was all kinds. We would literally roll up at a church or church camp or a nonprofit, or we went to recovery centers for meth and alcohol and other abuse. We went to all kinds of places. We would roll up and go, use us. Whatever you need us to do. We'll clean toilets, we'll mow yards, we don't care. Whatever you want us to do. There were times when it was really uncomfortable. They didn't know what to do with us. I didn't know what to do. We'd never done this before. We just figured it out. And the business suffered for it. I'll be honest with you. We lost tens of thousands of dollars a month initially when we did that because we didn't have the systems and structures in place to really take care of it the way we do now. We had to figure it all out. It was uncomfortable for a while. But we felt like God called us to be on the road. We did that for 4.5 years. And after a year or so, even in that first year, we started to figure it out. And the business started humming along again. And we figured out how to do it while we were on the road. The second barrier. But he replied, he said to another man, follow me. But he replied, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. Jesus said to him, let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. One of the things that was very common in this culture is people wouldn't go follow a rabbi until after their father had died. And so they would wait till their father passed, then they would leave the house, and then they would go follow the Messiah or the rabbi that they wanted to follow. In a business sense, this is literally saying delay is disguised disobedience. He's saying don't delay. Don't delay going and doing what you need to do today. Don't delay and put off what you feel like you need to do. Don't wait for perfect market conditions. Don't wait for the perfect business. Don't wait for, guys, perfection is just procrastination in disguise. That's all it is. That's all it is. Perfectionism, for all of you that have to have everything perfect, it's just procrastination. That's all it is. There's no such thing as perfect. There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be, for whatever you're called to do, whether it's ministry work, whether it's a business, whether it's a different job, whether it's doing something completely different in a different city, whatever it is that you're called to do. There's never going to be a perfect time to start the ministry, start the nonprofit, go do the business, take the leap. There's never going to be a perfect time. There's always going to be things that are not perfect. Saying you'll build the website or reach out to the client and I'm going to do this when life slows down, or I'm going to build this side hustle whenever life slows down, or man, when I get all my ducks in a row, or when this money comes in, or when this timing happens. Jesus is telling the guy, look, if you want to follow me, do it now. Fishermen dropped their nets. Matthew left his tax business, right? Over and over again, we see these guys go, okay, I'm done. I'm with you. I'm following you. So we can't live in the world of comfort, and opportunities have expiration dates. The window you're in today will not stay open forever. It just won't. We've been talking about this a lot inside of our DSF group and inside of our management team, inside of our staff. This may be one of the most golden opportunities inside the online world that we've had since I've started this, because everything's changing. And when change happens, opportunities happen because there's gaps. There's these massive gaps that you need to go fill. And we teach how to do that. We teach how to make sure that we do that, fill that gap. Opportunities have expiration dates. And a lot of times I think we feel like, oh, we'll have time. Guys, we just went to Tennessee. My wife has multiple sclerosis. I've shared this many times. We just went to Tennessee. We spent 2 weeks at a health clinic that people fly in from all around the world to go see this doctor. We spent the time with the doctor. My wife got treatments while we were there. It did definitely help. It was a good time when we were there. While we were there, we were supposed to visit with one of my past students. He and
Hey
I
sis,
texted back and
can
forth
I
over and
reach in
over.
there and
Oh,
get Brett's toothbrush and
hang on a
gel?
second. And so one of my students, he and I were supposed to meet while we were there. We were in the Nashville area. We were texting back and forth all week. I come home. We did never get to meet up. His schedule was busy. They were trying to open a new business. My schedule was busy with the clinic and stuff. We get home, and about a week later, we get on a phone call. I don't even know that it was a week later, actually. I think it was the next Monday. I get on a phone call with our team, and I find out that he had been in a tragic accident, got flipped over on a lawnmower on his property, and it killed him. I just talked to him. Like he and I we had just spent some time talking and wanted to meet and all of that. And I've known him for years. He'd come to my events, all of these things. We never know when our time here is done. We just don't. So you better be about it. Be about it now. I look at my life right now and I'm going, what do I need be about right now? I'm not guaranteed anything down the road. What do I need to do today? And he's telling this guy, this is literally what you can't wait, guys. Like you can't wait. You need to be about it today. And then the third barrier. Still another said, I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family. Jesus replied, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. So here's the craziness. I don't know if y'all have ever thought about this. I asked the kids and they kind of giggled at me. I said, have y'all ever ran a zero turn mower and tried to look backwards and drive a straight line? And the kids that you could tell had drove zero turn mower, they were like, yeah, you'd be all over the place. The mowing would look like this. That's literally what he's saying. He's saying you can't plow a field, turn and look the other direction, and yet so many of us live in the rearview mirror. So many of us live in the past failures that we had, whatever happened a year ago, whatever happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Oh, we're too old or we're too young or we just make all kinds of reasons up that we can't do something and we live in the past. We can't grow forward while we're looking backwards. We just can't. We can't grow forward while we're looking backwards. And some of us dwell in our past failures, and those past failures bring such hurt and pain to where we're at today that we're afraid to just take action and go do the things that we need to do. Jesus said you can't do it. Can't go back and talk to your family. If you want to go, let's go. We got to send it. We're at the top of the run. It's icy. It's going to be dangerous. There's going to be times when we fall and it hurts. We may even get some broken bones. But we got to send it. We can't compare our progress to somebody else's highlight reel. The stinking social media in today's world cracks me up. Everybody online's a millionaire. I can show you this, and I made $1 million doing this, and blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you right now, there's people on this call that have been in my house, sit on the couch right here. And they figured out really quickly that I am just who you see right here on the screen. I'm just a dude that God's blessed a little bit, and we've been able to do a lot of people for a lot of things for a lot of people, and bless our family, bless ministries, bless students, do all this stuff, travel and work at churches and do all kinds of neat stuff in ministry. I feel extremely blessed being able to do that. I can't compare myself to other people's highlight reels. There are times when life's tough. There are times when I just want to curl up in a ball in the corner. There's times when things just don't go right. There's times when the businesses fall off, like the wheels just come off the business. And we've had it many times. It's just a part of being an entrepreneur. It just is. So I don't know where you're at today, but if God's called you forward, your past isn't your ceiling. I'm going to say that again. If God's called you forward, your past isn't your ceiling. Some of you have been bumping against the same garbage that you've held on to for years. I failed at this, or I didn't do good enough at that, or I'm not worthy of this or worthy of that. And you've kept pulling back from what God's called you to do. When God says to go do something, we have to do it. And those three barriers, guys, comfort, delay, and this idea of looking back, those three barriers will keep us stuck. And Jesus said, if you want to follow me, if you want to be a disciple, if you really want to change the world, if you really want to do these things, make sure that you kill these things, that you deny yourself, that you deny your agenda. All right, I want to give you guys an analogy, and I hope this helps. I'm going to take that off right quick. I have my bucket right here of chlorine, which is really stout, by the way, sitting here. And I got a big pool out here. We've had the college kids over the last couple of weekends. They're all swimming. They're all doing their thing. It's been a wild ride having the kids back. We've had graduation parties and all kinds of stuff here. When you have a pool, anybody that's got a pool on this call knows that you have to daily take care of that pool. It's just part of it. You have to put the tablets in. The tablets literally clean the junk out of the water on a daily basis. Like they literally are in the flow of the water that moves through the pool every single day. Every single day. And they have to go out and they clean the algae and it cleans all the gunk out of the pool. But even with the tablets, we still have to do other things. In our spiritual walk, we have to have daily things that we do. In our spiritual walk, inside of our Groups, I encourage everybody about daily non-negotiables. And one of the ones inside of one of my groups is that we have to spend at least 30 minutes in either prayer, scripture, something every single day. It's a non-negotiable that we build into the program that we have. At least 30 minutes at the bare minimum. It's like the tablet. We need to be in scripture. We need to be in prayer. We need to be in meditation. We need to be around other Christians. It's daily. And if you know what happens, we went on a trip last summer. Or last fall, we went on a trip. We were gone for about 6 weeks. The weather had already started cooling off. I'd made sure and dosed the pool before we left. And when we got back, that sucker was green. It was green as green could get. Thing was filled with algae. We had to really douse it. So there's daily things that we have to do. And then sometimes we have to throw in shock. Sometimes we have to shock the pool. And we have to put a bunch of chlorine in it at once just to shock it back, to clean it all out. And for us, sometimes that seasons of growth. Sometimes that means us going on retreats, going to events like our Magnify the Wealth event that's coming up that I'm encouraging all the DSF students to come to. I'm going to have a special time just for them at this event. I'm sponsoring it. Like, I'm going to be there. My staff will be there. My whole team will be there. Sometimes we need seasons of growth where we go through these times when we grow as individuals, we grow as Christians, we grow as moms, dads, husbands, wives. Like, we grow. That's coaching. That's training. That's masterminds. Maybe that's where you're at right now. Maybe you're in a time where you need some shock in your life. You need to throw a little chlorine in it. You need to make sure that you see that you need to get some of this stuff, this algae, this garbage that's in your life out. The chlorine literally kills the stuff in the pool. Kind of the whole point of take up your cross daily, deny, right? This idea of denying and killing the stuff in our pool. Every once in a while, the pool gets really, really, really bad because of pH imbalance. And we have to go pour muriatic acid in. I don't know if you guys have ever been around muriatic acid, but that stuff is stout. And there have been times that I've been out there, and the first time that I did it, I really wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been paying. And the fumes kind of came up and it caught me off guard. And I took a breath and I was like, oh, that burns. That muriatic acid will put you on your rear. And sometimes we have to shock our lives that way when God challenges us. There are times that God has called us to go do things that were really uncomfortable and really, real wild ways that we did not expect. And we went through seasons where we just had to grow. And I needed mentors and coaches. And I have coaches and mentors that I pay for right now. I spend on average 6 figures a year just on coaches and mentors. I do it every year because I know that I have to grow. I have to grow beyond where I'm at to take my business further, my family further, the ministries further. I have to. I have to grow. My ceiling has to go up. My ceiling has to go up. I can't live in the rearview mirror and look at the past failures. I can't live in that stuff. So without daily input, drift happens. We get algae. We get junk. Without maintenance, things get messy fast. And we have to do these things. When we talk about taking up our cross daily and living this lifestyle, especially when you own a business, there's messiness in business. There's going to be times when you have opportunities to do business with people that are shady, that you're going to have to decide, do I do business with them or do I not? There was a time, I told the kids this the other day, there was a time we had an opportunity to land a client that was going to be about $95,000 a month. I want you to sink in on that right quick. It had been a 90 to 95 grand client a month. I would have probably pocketed somewhere in the $70,000 to $80,000 range in our business for this client. The more I found out about the client, the more I decided I did not want to have anything to do with the client. And we chose to say no. They invited me to come speak. I said no. They invited me to their national conference. I said no. They invited me they just kept pushing. We want you to do this business. We want you to do this marketing for us. We want you to do these things for us. And at some point I was like, I just can't do it. Your values and my values do not line up. And I passed up on millions of dollars in business because I wanted to choose God first. And we did. And our whole staff did. I asked our staff, I was like, you guys know the situation. What do y'all want to do? And my staff, all of them said, nope, not doing it. It's like, good. I'm glad you guys feel that way because we're not doing it. And so we basically said no and went about our way. So I want you to ask a couple of questions to yourself as you're kind of pondering what we've talked about tonight. If we really are to take up our cross daily, if we're really to deny ourselves, if we're really to put God's agenda first, if we're really to make sure that we're not delaying ourselves and we're not doing these things, right? I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Where am I clinging to comfort instead of obedience? Where are you clinging to comfort instead of obedience? And this sermon or the class that I taught these kids was just as much for me as it was for anybody. I need to be asking myself this because I get really comfortable. And then I lose sight of why I started the business. Guys, many of y'all probably don't know. I own a bunch of businesses. I don't just own an agency anymore. I own multiple training companies. I own an epoxy business. I own a couple of other businesses that people don't even realize I own. Like, we own a bunch of different businesses now. There are times when we've gotten comfortable, and I felt that nudge from God to get uncomfortable again. There have been times when we've had to decide, do we do this thing over here, which keeps us in comfort, or do we do this thing over here, which is obedience? Sometimes it's physical or emotional, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's financial. So right now, where am I clinging to comfort instead of obedience? The second question I would ask you is, where am I delaying action because I want perfect timing? For all you perfectionists on this call, there's no such thing. It's just procrastination. Just is. There's no such thing as perfection. Doesn't exist. Other than Jesus. Doesn't exist. Where are you delaying action because you want perfect timing? And then the third question I would ask you is, where am I looking back instead of stepping forward? Where am I looking back instead of stepping forward? Because there's so many times, guys, that we're dragging the past pain, the past whatever it was, and we're dragging it into today. It's in the past for a reason. Leave it there. Whatever happened to you in the past business or the past, can I tell you guys, like, I can't tell you how many businesses we failed at before I started my digital agency. I failed at Amazon, I failed at MLMs, we failed at some brick and mortar stuff. I failed at all kinds of stuff. I failed at every bit of it before we started this. I remember sitting down with my wife when we were looking at buying a training like DSF. I remember looking at my wife and going, are you okay with us spending money we don't have? Because we didn't at the time. We had just started another business. We had just come out of ministry. We were living off of debt and credit, trying to get businesses established. And I was like, are you okay with this? And for me internally, I was basically in my head going, I will not let my family down again. Period. I will do whatever it takes. I will spend however many hours. I will learn stuff that I would never learned, like I'd never done before. I will do whatever I have to do to make this work. And that's where I was at. I wasn't going to carry all those past failures because I had already failed, guys. I couldn't look at my life in the eyes again and say, I failed again in a business. I couldn't. So I chose to go all in. I chose to send it. I stood at the top of the mountain and I looked down and I knew it was going to be rough and I did it anyway. Digital Storefronts is wrapping up enrollment this year. Digital Storefronts is a training that I started 6 years ago because I kept having people ask me, how do you do this? We're literally filming this at a church camp to launch Digital Storefront while I'm driving a Humvee up and down a mountain, taking family retreat people to do mountain scooters and bless these kids and families. We're literally filming it at the same location while I'm doing this. And I took my goofball partners and the people that were working with us at the time, I take them up and we do mountain scooters. It just came across my feed the other day and they're flying down the mountain on these mountain scooters. There were people that would sit with me in the Humvee from family camp and they would go, how are you spending all of this time doing this? Like, are you retired? And I was like, no, I'm not retired. I was like, I own a business. I own a digital business. I do marketing. And they're like, wait, what? You own a business? And I'm like, yeah, I own a business. And they're like, how do you spend all day driving around the Humvee with mountain scooters all over it? And then at night, I'd be serving food. We did dinners and we did all this other stuff with them. How do you do all of that and still make a living and still be able to go do the things? And they saw my RV. Guys, we're driving a $90,000 dually hooked to I don't know how expensive of a fifth wheel. Like, they saw that we were living nice. Wasn't like we were glamping, is what we were doing. We were not camping. We were glamping. And they saw that and they were like, how do you do this? How are you doing this? That's why Digital Storefronts was established in the first place. It was literally to help people that wanted to go do ministry work or wanted to bless their family or wanted to help their community or wanted to give back or whatever, teaching them the process that I do inside of my own agency, where we teach people how to build websites and we teach them how to do lead generation for companies that need leads. And we teach them how to do Facebook ads and we teach them how to do SEO work where we rank things on Google. There's literally no better time. I was telling you this a minute ago. Like, this is the window. This is the window for money and gaps right now with AI because it's changing the way the business works. We just launched into the DSF program like 2 weeks ago. I gave our students a opportunity to take a product and turn around and sell it for 1,500 minimum one time, to sell it for 1,500 bucks minimum to make money. And they don't even have to do anything. All they got to do is go sell the thing. We do all the back end work for them. They just got to go sell it to business owners that already know that they need something because they're not showing up on AI anymore. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when you go search something online, there's AI overviews that start to pop up at the top. That's killing some of these businesses out there right now because they're not showing up like they used to show up. They're not getting the calls like they used to get the calls. They need somebody to come along and change their lives. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We come along and we help them with a piece of their business that they didn't know how to do. We are closing enrollment for 2025 as of this month. And that's not a fake time frame or anything. Like, it's just going to happen. At the end of this month, if you called me on September 1st and said, hey, I'd like to get a phone call with one of your guys, I'm going to tell you there are no guys because we're closing enrollment. It's just done. It's over with at the end of this month. If you don't get on the calendar and get a call scheduled by the end of this month, you're not getting into digital storefronts this year. You'll have to wait until next year. And all the goodness that we're going to do between now and the end of the year, it's going to be for just my students. We're going to have this event coming up. We've got a bunch of other stuff planned that we're going to do. It's pretty exciting times in the digital world right now. I'm pumped about it. Super excited about it. I wouldn't have spent all this money to sponsor this event if I wasn't. Like, this is exciting times to be able to start a business. I brought Aaron on because I want to make sure that he gives you guys an opportunity to find out more. He's one of my trusted staff. He's been with me forever. This guy knows the ins and outs of this business. We also have a few other people on the call. I know Katie's on here. I see Alan on here. I see Deanna on here. I see some others on here that I'm very familiar with that have been with us for a long time. They do our business. They understand our business. They know who I am. So I want to make sure and give Aaron just a second to make sure and talk to anybody that's interested in this because guys, there's no fake time frame. I'm not going to magically open it back up after this. Like this is just what it is. If you're on the call and you're like, this is something I want to do, great. This is something that I need to do now. Um, you need to talk to Aaron. So, Aaron, if you can unmute yourself, let's get you on,
Hmm.
make sure that we're doing this. We've got about
Sure,
2,000
sure.
students in right now, guys, and this is going to be a wild ride for the next however long. So, Aaron, what are you seeing out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of what you've been saying. So it feels so much like I'm sure a lot of y'all remember kind of the internet in the 90s, that feeling, of
Yeah,
wow, there's something big moving and shaking. There's a tsunami coming, and you could fight it all you want. You could sit on the beach until that tsunami lands and be like, oh, wait a second, I'm in trouble.
yeah,
I'm sure there's maybe even somebody on this call is like, I do email. I've been on my Facebook and forever. I just feel that shifting, but it also feels really early. And I think that was kind of to your point in terms of the opportunity that the average person, there's a big gap versus the people that are kind of getting after some of these new skills and new ideas, new strategies. It's just early. It feels early. It feels young. So it's like,
we
oh, all
are
right,
early.
just let me, yeah, let me just acquire some tools. I don't even know totally what I'm going to build yet, and maybe what I build tomorrow is different than what I built today. But I need these tools because that's what's going to be moving the needle for a lot of people in business. So, yeah, Corey, I've been working with you for forever, so I've always loved these Kingdom Impacts, and this is such a unique time because we are closing enrollment, that open enrollment season that I've had so much fun with for years. It's going to be put on hold. There's going to be the wait list season. That's going to be the new enrollment till sometime in 2026. So I know we only have so many seats of people that we want to bring into that next season, and we can't just keep bringing new people in over and over when we're trying to really level up our house, right, with everybody that's inside. So I just want to encourage everybody. You could say whatever you need to in the chat. You could private message me. You could say contact me, put your email. I'll drop a booking link for folks here as well. But again, just say the word and we'll reach out personally. We're definitely making some time for folks that need to have a real discussion. And I just ask that, people that want to take us up on that they feel like they're in a place to really put energy into something that's new, that's designed
Yeah,
to be impactful. Right? It's not going to be a get rich quick, but it's going to be something real that's built on a firm foundation. Um, and if that sounds like somebody in here and you want to have those discussions, or I see some familiar faces, so welcome back to some of the folks and maybe picking a conversation back up. We've got some time, myself and Luke, we're going to be working with folks and I just want to encourage you guys, hey, there's no pressure on anything, but it is genuinely closing. We are genuinely closing that open enrollment, and I can't stress that
yeah,
enough because that's unique. That's been unique since we've been working together. So I'm happy to talk with folks. I'll keep paying attention in the chat here, and Corey, I'll give the time back to you. I know you have some great students here. I recognize some of those folks as well, so I definitely want to give them some time to
yeah.
share some things too.
Yeah, no, I see Alan, so I don't know if Alan, if you want to jump in and say anything. Alan's been with me. You know, it's kind of funny actually. Alan showed up at one of my events. We were giving these awards away. Somehow the number got kind of messed up on the award that we gave him, and he put in an award for like a smaller number, and it came out to this massive number that he had just joined. He hadn't been with. I didn't realize this. He hadn't been with DSF very long. Came out to this really big, huge number that he had done in the business when he had just started. He was just getting started with the business. And it was so cool. Not too long ago, he came in, we were talking, and he said, "Hey, I hit that number. I'm actually doing the number now." And I'm like, "That's so cool." Because I gave him the award. I don't know, how long ago has that been, Alan? Was that like 4 years
3 years
ago?
ago.
3 years ago? Yeah. Took 3 years, right? Well, actually, you probably hit it before that, but and these guys, by the way, they saw us doing RV. Where are you guys at right now? Because they're in their RV traveling right now. This is what they've decided to do. This is where they feel like God's called them to go be right now.
We are in Indiana.
Nice. So you guys took off for Texas. Y'all been all over the place. You've been sending me pictures, and I am super jealous, by the way. Uh, y'all are all over the place right now, which has been really fun to watch. Is there a goal that you're trying to Like, are y'all heading somewhere, or is this kind of like God's just taking us wherever He takes
Wherever
us?
God leads us.
I love it. I love it. So give people an idea, like how has digital storefronts affected you guys as you've kind of gone on this journey? Because you guys have been with me a while now.
Yeah, so we have a roofing and construction business, and when we saw Cory online, just like everybody else here probably, I was curious what it was about, and our business was doing well, but I knew that it needed a change. It needed a new exposure, and I told myself, okay, it's either I uh, do this myself, or I find somebody who already has the blueprints for it. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that, I joined DSF because if I was to do it myself, I probably would have given up. We're trying to do a system. But Corey and his, and the system that they have, man, it propelled me. It saved me so much time, and it propelled our business way more than we can ever imagine.
So I love it. Are you guys doing ministry nights still? Are y'all doing that in the RV parks that you're going to right now?
Yeah.
See, this guys, this is I don't think we realize, and you just heard him, they own a roofing and contractor company in DFW area. They own their marketing company that they also have now. They're traveling off in Indiana right now because that's where God's sending them somewhere up there. They're doing ministry time at these RV parks, which I think is amazing because I've seen pictures. And are you guys and Robert and Adrian meeting up at some point?
Yes.
I think they're in Texas right now. We have another couple that does this all the time.
We met
And
them in
so,
Texas.
okay, yeah. So I love this because these guys are literally getting to go live the way that they feel like God's called them to go live. No, like nothing holding them to something. And I love that because I think sometimes we feel like we can only do life the way that, like, we have to do life, like a normal job or a normal 8 to 5 or a normal whatever it is. And I know when we very first talked, this was kind of y'all's goal was, hey, we want to get on the road, we want to go do this ministry, we want to see where God leads us. I know y'all have been promoting some other ministry retreat or something, I think, too, that you guys are a part of. I think I've seen you promoting. I love that. I love that you guys are getting to live the way that you want to live, and you've chosen to build the life you want to build. And I know you guys aren't the only ones, right? Like this is what's fun about this group is we get to do stuff in totally different ways. If there was anything that you would leave people with today, what would it be as far as like this time right now, what you're seeing inside the industry and what we're doing? Any thoughts?
I would say just go all in.
Yeah.
Just go all in. I mean, the thing is, the one that really would make us fear taking risks is when, we get overwhelmed by overthinking stuff and figuring things out. And
Yeah.
like you said, wanting everything to be perfect before we start, it never is.
No,
But there's
never.
but there's grace for that.
Yeah.
And really, I think just believing that God is good
Yeah.
and he will give you and provide for what you need when you need it.
Yeah. I know
So,
you guys are fun to watch because we've been down the path that you guys are going down and I love it. Uh I can't wait to hear the stories. The next time that we all get together, I can't wait to hear the stories about the ministry, the people you guys were able to sit down with, the gospel message you guys were able to share, the people that you ran into at some RV park somewhere like we did, where we've met people from all around the world, man, that we were able to either share the gospel with, or some food with, or some ministry with, or sit down and whatever it was. So I'm excited for you guys and excited to see where things go for sure. And I know you guys now have the businesses set up to where you can travel without having to stress about it and worry so much about it. And that was a big shift. Big
Yes, it is.
shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
very big
Yeah.
shift. We're
Which
very
by the
thankful.
way, I owe you guys something for the other group that you're in. You guys are in a competition and Keely figured out something that she wants to send you. So I don't know if you've got an address to her yet, but we probably need to make sure that we've got an updated address for you guys so that we could make sure and send it to you. Yeah, pretty exciting. Yeah.
Really.
Thank you.
Thank you so
She's
much.
You're very welcome. She's 19, so who knows, man?
Yeah.
She's Kaylee's my intern, and she's a blast, man. She's a blast to have her. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Thank you for speaking up. I
Our
really
pleasure.
appreciate that.
It's
Yeah,
our pleasure.
I am so
Mhm.
excited for you guys and where things are heading.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, man. Katie, were you on here? I know you said you were going to try to be on here with you got, she's got some little munchkins running around. She was hoping husband would be able to watch them tonight. I don't know if she's here or not. Not seeing anything. Maybe she'll pop up here in a minute. Katie and I were talking the other day. Her husband has the goal of being a professional fisherman. And she actually had won a competition, came out to her house, and she spent some time with us and her and her husband. And they're young and just trying to figure life out. And they got these two little kiddos, and their little boy's about as cute as could be. And he's in all of her little marketing videos that she does. And she's still working part-time for the church, plus she's doing this, plus she's taking care of kids. And so this is the kind of business that it doesn't matter if you're like this week. I've taught three college kids, or not this week, this last few months, I've taught three college kids how to launch businesses. It's just fun to me. And these kids are getting to do things that they never dreamed that they would be able to do without being a part of something like this, right? I know there's some other familiar faces on here. Who else? Is there anybody else that would like to, that's in DSF right now that would like to jump in and chime in? Because I see a few names here that I know. If you don't, that's totally cool. I know it's a little nerve-wracking getting on in front of all these people. Okay. Here's the deal. We are going to look back a year from now and we have a decision to make. Bottom line, God called us to send it for whatever it is that he called you to go do. And maybe DSF's it, maybe it's something else. It doesn't, the tool, the vehicle is important. We want to make sure we have a vehicle that actually runs and works and all that good stuff, right? That's important. At the same time, your vehicle may look different than what we have in DSF. Great. Wonderful. Like I know Deb right now has a ministry she's doing for ministers. She has a bookkeeping business that she runs full time. She has a remodeling company that she runs full time. She has the marketing business that she runs full time. Like she got all these businesses that she's running. I don't see how Deb even has time to even do anything right now. But she has all these businesses she's running and still able to do this. And the business has given her the ability to do things that she wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. We were talking about it the other day. I see Deanna on here. She's working as a full-time nurse and doing this part-time, trying to create enough business that she can leave the nursing and go do the things that she wants to go do. Like I see people on here I know that are making changes in their lives. And so in a year from now, right now, you're either going to be building a kingdom business that God put in your heart or wishing you had sent it when he asked. We either move and do what Camille said a minute ago. Like we either go do the thing or we don't. Some of you are going to stand on the top of the mountain, you're going to look down, and you're going to panic. And you're going to have to decide, am I going to send it or am I not? And one of the most dangerous things that we can do is get to the top of one of those runs and halfway go at it. You're going to hurt yourself. It's going to be ugly. Skis are going to go everywhere. Body parts are going to go everywhere. I've been there, done it. The same happens in business. If we truly want to pick up and take up our cross every day, we die to what we want. I don't know where God's sending you, what he's calling you to do. I love it when I hear ministry stories of, hey, I'm going to be going over here. I'm going to be going doing this thing, and DSF is allowing me to do it. The guy that's going to Korea, he's built his business up enough now that he's able to go do that. I love it. He's going over there and he's going to be able to go do ministry work. Love it. We have plenty of people that go to, like, Brian goes to Pakistan and does ministry in Pakistan where his wife's from. We have all these people that go to other countries. We also have people that are just doing amazing things here. One of my business partners and the guy that actually we started what's called Rise Recovery St. Louis, a recovery home for women that are addicted to meth, addicted to alcohol, other drugs. It just got founded not too long ago. He and I have known each other through ministry circles for years. He joined my program. He built up enough money and enough business that they are church planners now. They're able to support themselves completely with the business. I think last December he told me he did about 32 grand through his digital agency. Pretty sure he can support himself on that. He's killing it. He's showing up here this Wednesday because we started Rise Recovery. Through that, he started doing marketing for a couple of other big groups out there, big church group or ministry groups out there. One of those ministry groups showed him how you can take and jailbreak a phone or a product, a computer product. It can be all kinds of different things. You can put volumes of Bible studies and the Bible on these things, make them to where they can be charged by solar, to where you don't have to have internet or electricity, and you can send them all around the world to spread the gospel. He's coming here Wednesday of this week to spend time at the church that I'm involved in because he knows that that church has 2 or 3 different ministries around the world. Like we have Bible schools around the world that we actually support and are involved in. And we have mission teams around the world that we're involved with. And he's coming here Wednesday to talk to the church about how can I partner with you guys to put these devices that have the gospel message and Bible study and all that on them and send them out to all these people that don't have it and don't have access to it. All because of relationships that were formed years ago through ministry, then through the digital marketing agency, and through now we have a Rise Recovery ministry that we started. And now he's like, I want to take the gospel to the world. And now we have technology with AI and the way everything works to be able to send literally full Bible, like complete curriculum to somebody in another part of the world that has no access to electricity or internet. Who would have thought that up? Like, I'm like, come on, dude. He's like, can I come stay with you for a few days? I'm like, bring them on, man. Who's coming? So they're going to stay with us this next week. And they're going to talk to the church about how that can look. All because of having the finances and the funding and the freedom and the other things through the ministry work and through the business. That's why we started Digital Storefronts. There's story after story after story after story. It's cool. It's a neat place to be, and it's a neat place to be involved in. I know Aaron's commented a lot too. I've seen the chat over here. People are going, all right, give me some everything. So if you guys like reach out to Aaron, let him know we're not kidding. End of this month, enrollment closes. Would love to have you for 2025. We're going to be pouring into DSF through the end of the year. I've already talked to even my trainers. We're going to be pouring some new products, some new services in. We have some other stuff that we've got planned. We're even talking about at the event, me teaching on for DSF students. I'm going to be speaking at the event as my agency. And I'm going to be pitching the people that come from the other groups. Because there's a whole nother group that I'm sponsoring the event, right? Of these other people. And I'm going to be teaching how do you actually go from one to many? And I'm going to be giving all of these tools and all of that to the DSF students that want to be involved in this event that's coming up. Because I want them to be able to go stand on a stage and pitch from one to many. I was talking to one of my students today, and I'll leave you with this thought. Again, 1 year from now, where are you going to be? You're going to be somewhere, right? I was talking to the student today. He's a nurse right now. He's got a couple of kiddos, wants to do some pretty big things with them, wants to take some trips, wants to do some pretty cool stuff with them. And we got talking today, and he said, I can either do a travel gig in nursing and go make $30K in the next 3 months. I can stay doing what I'm doing with just doing some PRN, picking up a few shifts here and there, and then focus all my time and go all in on the business. Before I could even answer him, he had sent me this message a couple nights ago. Before I could even answer the guy and say, hey, here's what I think you should do, he goes and he spends some time in prayer about it. He talks to some smart people about it. And he comes back. Before I could even answer, he said, God's telling me just to send it. I'm like, okay. So we sat down today and we break out what the business needs to look like to get him to 30K in the next 3 months. So before the end of the year, he wants to do $30,000 through his business, potentially 10K or more a month, right? To get to 30K in 3 months. So before the end of the year, that's kind of what his goal was. We broke it all down step by step. And I said, okay, how many of these do you need to do? How many of these conversations? How many quotes do you... And guys, like Aaron said, this is not a get rich quick. This is a business. You want to go into business? That's what we teach you how to do. We teach you how to go into a business, an actual real life. You're helping customers. You're serving people. You're helping business owners that don't know what to do. Business. Showed him exactly how to get to 30K in the next 90 days. He goes, that was awesome. He's like, I'm ready to do exactly what you just showed me. He said, that was so tactical in the way that you presented it. Showed me exactly what I need to do. Now it's just a numbers game. He said, I could do the numbers game. He's like, I just need to have 100 of these done to get my 50 here, to get my 3 to 5, 6, 7, whatever it was here, to get my closes here, to get to my 30K. I said, yep. And he goes, I can do that. It's just a numbers game at some point. That's all it is. So that's what tonight's about. Are we going to deny what our agenda is and make sure that we go after whatever it is that God's called us to? Whether that's DSF or something else, whether that's ministry word, whether that's another job, whether that's another business, whatever it is that God's called you to, do not let another year go by and not go after your dreams. Just don't. It's too easy to look back and go, time's flown. I just realized we've been in business over 11 years. Like this week, it just hit me. We've been in business over 11 years. It didn't even click with me. So whatever you need to do, make sure that you get with Aaron and those guys if you'd like to learn more about digital storefronts. Make sure that you look, guys, this call will be on YouTube. It'll probably be sent out to everybody that's on our list because we want to get the messaging out. If you want to get on that calendar link, you need to get on the calendar link before the end of the month. After my birthday hits and I turn 51, we're all in Send It between then and the end of the year with all of our DSO students that are in. It's just the way it's going to work. Like we talked about initially, if you really want to have impact, you got to have resources. And that's what we're all about. Let's go build some resources so we can go have impact. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging with me. We went over, I know, about 17 minutes. My daughter drove in from Dallas, and she and my wife and them are sitting up front waiting for me to get done because they're wanting to go eat supper. So I am going to go hug my daughter's neck and love on her and spend some time with her since I haven't seen her in about 3 weeks. And go spend some time with them. Thank you guys so much for spending your Thursday evening with me. Please reach out and let us know. I know Aaron's dropped in all kinds of goodness inside of the chat. So let's make sure that if you are wanting to have a conversation with somebody, we get those conversations had. If you guys have any questions for me or anything, make sure you reach out. There's the Digital Business with a Mission group that we're in. I know there's other avenues that you guys have access to our team and resources. Make sure you reach out. If you're inside a digital storefront right now, get after it. Now's the time. Let's go send it off that mountain. Let's go make sure that we make impact. Let's go change the world. Because that's literally what we can do. Al and Camille are literally changing it one RV park at a time. I love it. I love it. Where are you called? And where do you need to send it? You guys have a great night. I'll see you guys in the group. Hope to see a bunch of you inside of DSF. See ya.